In the short term, do you think your daughter would take satisfaction in seeing you take action? Like immediate action? In the short term, do you think your daughter would take satisfaction in seeing you take action?
No.
Okay. Like that's a mixed bag.
She's not going to.
Do you think your daughter would take satisfaction
She
in
doesn't
seeing you
honestly
take action?
have a ton of.
Like that's a mixed bag.
So with my daughter, she doesn't look after her mother and started a YouTube channel. She would probably go the way of like 𝗵𝗵𝗱.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of that is because I tend to call the police on her and I wouldn't even say every month, but several times a year. Because a lot of the time I am alone and I have a 12, 13-year-old, now he's almost 14-year-old with me, and that's pretty much it. So if she gets out of control, like the only recourse that I really do have, sometimes Andy's here, or sometimes I can call him, sometimes he's not and I can't. It's just that's sort of the nature of being involved with a drug addict, unfortunately. So my only other recourse really is to call the police because my father is 2 hours away almost, and my mother definitely could not physically take her. I don't know. I don't think that even if I tried that I could at this point, to be completely honest. She's a fighter, which under some circumstances, if I'm watching her box, I'm kind of proud of. When you're on the receiving end of it, not so much. That's what I mean. I get concerned not just about her mental health and her self-destructive shit, but she is reactive
and trained.
Yeah. Well, that has helped the aggression, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's skills now.
Too, she has to realize too that people like him feed on their.
You've heard her talk about him. You've heard her talk about him, right?
So I guess my point was to ask if watching her mother take action on her behalf would be a very soothing and satisfying thing for her. I realize that the action that would need to be taken is one that would be particularly distasteful for her. But if watching you say, I'm done with this motherfucking bullshit, and on this particular issue, we're going to start to advocate hard, would that bring satisfaction for her and a little less conflict between the two of you because she sees you taking that action?
Kate, I'm setting up that call.
Probably not now, but she will. Hopefully she will in time.
That's when I will be.
All Kate can do is what she can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know her daughter, so sometimes certain people need certain types of actions in the immediate and other types of actions in the long term. So I really don't know what she needs, but sometimes people need to see you doing something. Even if that something doesn't have a long-term effect, it has that short-term effect.
Agreed.
Sorry, my mom just called and is in a fucking panic.
And she is. It's okay.
Getting things like secondhand from my daughter. So she's like, "Is this man coming to take your child?" I was like, "No, he's not coming to take my child, Mom." No.
You know, moms always have the worst case scenario in mind.
I know.
That's how moms are. I don't have to tell you that, but
You know, while I'm sitting here, I'm just going to email the detectives that I know were at his PD too.
for it.
This is dumb. Like, I don't want to be too alarmist about it. Like, I get, like,
And it's your daughter.
I know.
You can never be too alarmist when it's concerned.
Well, and especially if, like, you're not calling for him to be put in jail immediately, right? You're just making a report to let the police know that it happened, so that when additional incidents happen, because Cockwomble here will escalate because he's a fucking monster, that, you know, it shows that history of, you know, from start to finish.
And you know what? Like, she shouldn't be worried. I tried to fucking tell her this last night too. I want to know, like, why Stephen follows along. But I was like, you know, I wouldn't worry about him fucking, you know, putting anything on Front Street, kid, because like they're going at Andy, so they're just gonna think that he's a piece of shit, and you're left out of it pretty much.
I'm surprised he hasn't come in here. We should all change our name to Teenage.
You notice how he's just really obsessed with the idea of my children being sexually abused? Have you noticed that?
Because
Oh, yeah.
projecting because of a fucking pedo.
Confession by projection.
fucking
100%.
gross. So gross.
Like,
Oh,
he
makes me
essentially,
angry.
he either wrote it himself or had somebody else write disgusting fake documents that amount to fucking fanfic of my children being sexual together. Like, who does that?
It's fucking gross.
Ah,
I had told my ex-husband about him contacting your daughter, and he's mad. Oh.
like I said,
He those two up.
confession by projection on his gross ass.
Well, I mean, there's a reason when he was convinced he was hacked, he would not give them his computer. Everyone in that group chat was like, give your computer to the state police. He wouldn't fucking do it.
Yep.
I'm just saying, if he wasn't a white bread, bubble born bitch, and this was happening in Boston, it wouldn't be happening anymore.
I'm waiting around till like 12:30 anyway, so it's fine. That's a pretty good plan, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh, motherfucker! And now Dante is pulling up. What?
Is it the reading? No.
Well, I mean, I don't know. When they congregate, because I know that Teresa.
Yeah, you get too many teenagers in one place. It's called a fuck.
Well, she gets on the phone and she like literally. Never mind. Actually, this is like not something to say on Discord, but he said like these kids just operate a little bit more savagely than I would like, and you know, Casey just got arrested for the fucking school incident. So.
Well, I think if you tell them that you're going to the police and all this stuff, I think they'll.
Oh, she hangs out.
And wait.
She hangs with the jailbirds.
I hung out with a rough crowd when I was younger too. It's kind of a safety thing, so like I get it.
They're not like bad kids. Like honestly, every single one. Like, I shouldn't say that. She has some kids, some friends that come from like very good homes, and they just kind of like to like play bad kid, but they're not. She's got some kids that come from much rougher areas and rougher homes. Casey's like kind of the main one that's sort of like her best friend, and he's had a very tough life. And Casey is unbelievably grateful that he gets to come and stay. Like I get teary just thinking about it because he drives me nuts. But like,
he's overall a nice kid. Oh no, she died.
He tries in spite of himself.
We've taken quite a few children under our wing when our children were younger, and they relation to safety and respect we gave them in the home, because that's maybe not what they got at their home, and that's probably what Kate's daughter's friends that are living on the fringes get from her.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do, isn't it? You give back to your community, and I'm an educator, so you give to children that need to see the love and boundaries that real parents love them feel. But I don't see from, I'm not going to say his name, I fear for his children because his values are very, very poor. And that's not nice.
I'm just dysfunctional as fuck. I'm not like, it's not like I have like this like wonderful step for vibe nurturing environment, but like it's clean here. They can hang out safely. I have rules that I feel like are pretty they're pretty lax. Like I know that they smoke pot and I don't give them a hard time. I don't allow drinking or hard drugs in my house. That's it. And like I will call the police if I find, and they know that. Like I feed them, I cook for them and I feed them. And I'll drive them around. Like, that's like, I'm not sitting there fucking doing arts and crafts with them all the time. And like, they deal with, me screaming on the internet sometimes, or, I shouldn't even say that. Like, Andy is not a fucking batterer, like by any stretch of the imagination. He's definitely put hands on me once or twice in the last 10 years. He's got fucking problems, but like we argue. A lot less now that, like in the thick of it last year when he's pulling these reports from, because not that it excuses the chaos that occurs in my house sometimes, but like my daughter was off the rails to the point to where, she had run away from a group home and was gone for a week. She was sneaking out of her window all the time. We were finding drugs in her room. We were finding alcohol in her room. She was sneaking boys into the house. She was, I would try to give her a drug test. And if she was already having an episode, it would turn violent. She's thrown urine on me before. It was like, we would argue about the way that like things should be handled because Andy for a long time felt like I wasn't, I wasn't strict enough with discipline. And if we just had stricter rules, then she would behave. And you can't discipline away mental health issues. We'd argue about it a lot. Like
Make her more hard.
Okay.
Well, it's just like, you know, like, how do you, like, I get it. Like, you want to teach your kid, you can't fucking hit people. Like, I understand that. It's not like I'm trying to teach her, like, you know, I don't go out and fucking hit people. I you know, even when I want to, because I understand that I have to set some sort of fucking example. The exception being is I would kick Aiden's ass and I wouldn't feel bad about it. But, like, that's, I say that, I don't even know if I mean it. But, like, you know, how do you, like, what are you supposed to do to punish a kid that, like, you know, she always feels guilty afterwards. She describes it as blacking out. Like, you know, like, what do you do? Like, she's already punishing herself. I'm going to make her feel worse. Like, I don't.
For help for mental health.
Or, like, how many people were like, yeah, no, I remember the argument in February. It was because he wanted to take the door off of her hinges, and I didn't want him to take the fucking door off her hinges. And I thought that it was a violation of privacy. And he was like, well, every time that she goes in there, she closes the door and she's bringing drugs in and shit like that. We're going to do a big fucking fight about it.
Well, I get your point and I get his point. I've sent you an email anyway about my experience with my daughter, 32 now, and had a very open conversation with us when she was about 14 about having sex, and we were totally, like, devastated. But we tried to deal with it rationally. She's had all kinds of mental health issues. It makes me wonder what happened to her as a child. Maybe we missed something. We've got all kinds of guilt. All this. I've not had quite the same experience you have.
I know, I've run the world with kids.
But significant mental health issues. And it has taken me, and I have sent you an email, taken me 16 years to turn around that relationship. Not to turn it around, actually, that's unfair. Because actually it's about me providing her with the skills she needs to be more secure in herself, more secure in life, deal with the pressures of society, the pressures of the world. And that was difficult because I wasn't brought up in the world that she was brought up in. And you have to stand back and go, sometimes you have to go, right, I can't tell my child to behave the way I behaved when I was a child because my parents' values were different than mine. Society was
I would never tell my child. I was just like on the way back from court, actually, I was discussing this with Andy, how, like, there is shit that I have done as a child that if my daughter did today, I would be absolutely fucking livid. Like, I get it. And I'm like, I'm not, you know, the long story short of it all is that I always win out because she's my fucking kid, my fucking house. And I am, I guess, more like, I've done things that would make other people raise their eyebrows. If my kid asks me for a cigarette, I will give it to her because I do not want her picking them up off the street. Like, judge me all you want. It wasn't worth the fucking fight. It wasn't worth the risk. Or going and asking strange men for cigarettes. Like, no, we're not doing that, okay? And it snowballed. It didn't happen all at once. And I was like, here, kid, like, take my cigarettes. Like, at first she would steal them. I would punish her for stealing them. And then I decided that I didn't want the alternative happening, so I would leave them out. I knew she was stealing them, and then I said, well, I don't really want to teach her to fucking steal, so I would tell her, you have to. At first, I attached a chore to it, and then it's at this point, like, ask me, and there's certain times that I'll say no, because I just know, like, when she wakes up in the morning and goes, can I have a cigarette before school? Like, no, you can't get into that habit, because this is a hard enough one to break. When you start fucking habitually smoking at certain times and getting into those rituals, it's even fucking harder. I know what's going to happen. Like I said, I know the kids smoke weed. Like, you know, not a big fucking deal to me anymore. I have harder lines, you know, bigger issues. Last summer, I started to she had a boyfriend at the time. I let the boyfriend sleep over the house and I provided them with condoms. Like, you know, it was like, what's the alternative? Really? Yeah.
Should go out and do it anyway.
Right. Like in a much more unsafe place. And like, you know, I'm not that much older than her. I remember when I was 18. It's not like I don't understand this shit to a certain degree. You just don't want your kids to, you know, the mental health thing it's tough. You know, the system is tough to navigate. I've gone to courts and I've gone to social workers and I've gone to clinicians and, you know, inpatients and group homes. And like, it's very difficult. You know, the clinic that she was being seen at abruptly closed at the end of this year. So we're probably going to have a lapse in services again, which is a great time for all this shit to pop off with Aiden, right? Because, like, you know, it's not like she's not going to be struggling enough. And now, like, you know, her brain, she's just going to constantly be fucking ruminating on, you know, what all these asshole strangers think about her on the internet and her fucking family. And, you know, she's rightfully angry with me.
I think she's angry with you now, but well, just reading. Well, I don't know. I only know what.
It was like there was nothing you could have done to avoid this. Aiden and his mistress are the ones that dragged you to court. Aiden's and her ones fucking following you all the time and stuff. Like this wasn't avoidable. It's just not. Nothing you do is gonna stop him from doing that shit.
He's obsessed with you.
Yeah.
And he's becoming obsessed with Shiz. You know, that's my impression.
The only way you can stop him permanently is to go outside the law.
Oh, maybe.
No.
I don't know. I'm not. No, I don't agree with
No.
any.
But if you have a history of police reports, it makes it easier to get things like harassment protection orders for one who does really go over the line.
Yeah, I gotta call it 12:30 about that. I'll file a report. I mean, I don't know. It's and like to a certain extent, like it's unreasonable to expect her to feel this way, but you know, like with the online shit, it's like just don't fucking watch it. Like why do you even know this is happening? Like don't pay attention to it. I don't.
She is still a child.
I know that.
And it's one of those things that it's only with you've had the experience of DV, like I have, and it's only as you get older you go with experience and that rubbish doesn't get to you. Or it doesn't get to some people. I'm really lucky it doesn't get to me. Say what you want, I'm really not that bothered. I work in a school for children that are criminalised. So we get punched, we get hit, we get verbally abused, all that kind of stuff. That takes a huge amount on your mental health. And you have to be a very strong person, but she's still a child and she's still developing. But I will say this, I think you're a very good example of a strong woman, whether you believe it or not, and I think you denigrate yourself a little bit too much. My interpretation is that you're a strong woman, she's a strong woman, and you both sometimes make excuses for being strong women and devalue yourself, and the example you set for other women is really important, including your children. I'm done.
Oh, I got some word on that. Gentlemen, what's up? You taking a walk? Are you taking a walk? You need money? Are you sure? Okay. Oh my god, this was so hectic that I actually forgot that my son had a friend over until they just walked out the door.
What did he say to her?
Just go again. Which is a weird way to start a conversation. Like again, like I just don't fucking get it. How he addressed the live stream. She didn't tell me about that, so I am not entirely sure if she saw it or not. Honestly, like I was in voice and I fucked around on Radha's panel for a few minutes and then I just went to bed because it was like, you know, she came into my room early and was like, he scheduled a live about Andy. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, so, like, who fucking cares? And she was like, this is all your fault. Like, they're going to pull that up. I'm going to look bad. He's going to look bad. You make everybody look bad. I was like, it's like, nobody watches it, Teresa. It's fine. And then I was like, just, you know, just don't watch it and go to bed. Right. And then this morning she woke up and was in a fucking panic. And she was like, I told you something was going to happen. Like, he's going to come fucking kidnap me. He won't leave me alone. Like, I think the same thing she says, like, usually, like, joking, but she was, like, upset this time. She's like, I think he wants to bang me. Like, it's just fucking a lot of conjecture there. I mean, I would assume that he's pretty much stuck on Facebook because I don't think that he's going to be able to pull, like, she's a kid, so, like, she doesn't have any contact information, like, under her own name outside of that.
Yeah, but he knows where you live, and he knows that she lives with you.
Yeah, but he's afraid of Kate unless he's in front of a fucking courthouse.
Well, I don't doubt that. It's just if he finds an opportunity, he's gonna take it too. Where he thinks he can get away with it with no repercussions, he'll take it.
I was ready to go for tomorrow. Made 28,000. Shoot, almost 29 from up there. So I made 29. Now let's just wait and see what I made from the state. You want to keep that one for a reason.
I mean, this internet shit is out of control. I mean, I usually am like, you know, like, I understand that Steph is not a very popular person around the drama community, but I was listening to her late last night, literally crying because angry people on the internet that don't even know her or her kids or anything else keep sending fucking child protective services to her fucking house. Like, at what point do you just refrain from, like, I've never even fathomed to do this shit. The internet has never upset me to the point where I want to do any of this shit.
Okay, it gets worse. I stumbled into a fucking different community the last week, and when I tell you they were putting out books and pamphlets of this couple's information, people were driving to their property, trying to go into their house, calling hospitals looking for the birth of their child. Like, people are fucking nuts.
It sounds like when,
if you look up, that was the homesteading community. If you look up Pure Living for Life, I mean, they left YouTube 2 years ago and they just came back and were like, look, this is why we left. Like, we have video footage of people coming up onto our porch, middle of the night, middle of the day, looking through our windows. There were Reddit and Facebook groups of people posting their fucking address, their family's info, their work info, their phone numbers, telling people to come to our property and find us.
oh man, that sounds like they were what they're doing during Gamergate.
Yeah,
Can
I mean,
Can I ask a question? Is that something to do with your First Amendment? Because that doesn't happen over here in the UK because it's harassment, it's all kinds of different things.
so your First Amendment, your First Amendment rights are not without consequence. All right, you can still be charged with harassment. You can still do all that. Now the issue is how many people go through that process.
Not just that, but part of the issue is how many people are doing it. That's one of the shittiest things about,
Right.
and how much you can prove. Because, like, for Aiden, I can tell you one way that Aiden gets away with a lot of things is, number one, he's a pussy. So he tends to toe the line, maybe sometimes step over it a little bit. But the cops kind of go, I don't know where this stands. Like, man, right? On top of that, he'll employ other people to do this shit. And then he'll also use fake accounts. So and you'll see in a lot of court filings against him, he lies and says, I didn't write that. That's not my account. Oh, no, I share that account with other people. And then it's like, how do the police prove? Like, it's very difficult to prove that someone has picked up a device and actually physically typed something out and sent it. How do you prove that?
Like if they're using a VPN or something like that. So
not just that, but you know, there can be defenses like, oh, I share the account with other people, or I put my phone down. Somebody else must have picked it up and done it. Now, is every single one of these excuses going to work? No. Does it cast more and more reasonable doubt? Yeah. And like the police are not caught up to a lot of this fucking internet shit. And a lot of it too is like, you know, there's a sort of overwhelming feeling here of, well, then shut off the internet, you know? In Jaduso's case, like what is happening to her? She is essentially being stalked on a digital platform here. Like he is following her around, every account that she opens, every friend that she makes, every relationship that she starts, and he's doing it all from the comfort and safety of his home, on his computer or on his cell phone. And, you know, would it cause somebody distress, especially over years? Yeah, because you feel like everything you're doing is being watched. Even the fact that he still comes in here and will sit in our voice chat for hours and record and come in on socks. Like, is it illegal? No. Is it a little unsettling? After 3 years, yeah, fuck yeah, it is. You know, like, but you can't say that it's not the same thing, at least in the eyes of the law, as being followed around physically.
I know, but physically intimidating, intimidating a person that's underage online, to me, is very different than intimidating adults in some way.
Because he's going to turn around if questioned about this and go, who's trying to intimidate that child? I want to save her. Her parents are monsters. I said it, right? Like, I know what the implication here is. He doesn't give a fuck what happens to this fucking kid.
And it's 2023. You just simply can't get off the internet.
I just think it's, I don't know. I see a lot of like online bullying between teenagers, and that's nasty. But they're teenagers, and you know, unfortunately, whether it's verbal or digital, teenagers of all, you know, young people do bully each other. They do pick on people. That's what they do, right or wrong. But an adult intimidating a young woman, what's it? That's about you, Kate, not about her. And it's the implications it has on her in later life that these grown men, sorry, say grown man. I mean that obviously very liberally. Thinks that it is okay to intimidate young girls. What is it? You know, is that what he wants for his own children?
No, you're 100% right.
I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it. I beg swear often. He's a fucking dick. That might be the only time you hear me say the F. Possibly. I don't know. It's fucking dick. For the second chance.
Well, that's the thing. If he also was 16 years old, going around spreading rumors online that this kid is being sexually abused, like, yeah, there would be some consequences for that.
It's just, if he was having a go at Kate or Shiz and all that, you can deal with that as adults, can't you? It's not nice. It's unpleasant. The stuff he did about Shiz and her baby absolutely makes my blood boil. The name calling, well, yeah, do you know what? It's name calling. You're on the internet, so what? However, he's an adult man. Your daughter's a teenage girl. What is his point? Is he he's not an incel, is he? He can't be an incel because I've seen the videos and I wish I hadn't.
He's a Chad.
Sorry, a Chad.
He seems to be a minor attracted person, but I digress.
That's the part that bothers me the most. At this point now, he has put out into public and named my child by name and said that she has been sexually abused by both her brother and her fucking stepfather. Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Because
Why
he
would
wants to have sex with her, Kate. Because he's fucking broke.
projecting.
To be honest, I'm not going to say it, but the guy who said projecting. I'm not going to put in Shiz's words, but the guy who said projecting. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know.
Everything about you, about your daughter, it's always something weird and sexual, and it fucking creeps me out.
Yeah. And no grown man should be contacting any teenage girl.
Oh.
Unless it's a father who's asking when she's coming home. No grown man should be contacting any teenage girl whatsoever. It's wrong. And certainly on the internet, because you're opening yourself up for all kinds of allegations.
Yeah.
I'm going to swear again. He's a creepy fucker.
He is a creepy fucker.
Oh,
He
I
is
thought you
as
said
attractive
painful.
as a prolapsed rectum, and he is a festering anal cancer on society.
And that's just nice words. About it.
There's good points.
Fuck him.
These times now I was born, and it's only, I don't know, the 8th of January. That's it. I'm not going to be able to swear for the rest of it.
His raps are really cool.
Yeah, they're really good.
His raps look like when your friend like does coke for the first time and doesn't know how to handle it. Like that's him rapping, like shaking and shit and fucking.
Oh, Cyrex quality.
Oh, I've not really watched him. I've watched him on Chili's channel about the cake stuff. I've not really watched him because I don't want to give him views. And is he posted somewhere else where he doesn't get anything from it, any kind of adulation and whatever?
No, I mean, I don't even care about all that. Like, you know, I don't watch his views. I know they're abysmal. That's never going to change. Like, I don't really, like, you know, I don't care if he makes money or not. Like, I just wish that he would, like, leave me alone or drop dead. Either would be fine, really, honestly. Like, either would be fine.
Amen.
You got to bet on the ladder. He's never going to leave you alone.
Oh, I know that. No, I know that. I've ignored him, and then I've come back and fucking swung back at him hard, and, like, you know, he got stunned for a little bit, took down my fucking shit, and then immediately went full force at it. And the Xmas,
Which he denies. He denies taking down your blogs, but I still have messages he sent me about how he took them down to make it all go away.
Right. And maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have just stopped at that point, but like, good. But it wouldn't have stopped him anyway. And fuck that. No, like,
well, because at that point he was ruthlessly stalking Leah and fucking attacking Chrissy and going after fucking everyone.
Damn it, it's fucking done anyway. Like, there is nothing that he can pull up at this point that doesn't reinforce what people already fucking know. Like, there's nothing. So, you know, what else are you going to do? Unfortunately, now it seems to be to just fucking, you know, go at my fucking daughter. Like, and you know, put out the report because, like, she doesn't look that bad in it. You can tell that she lied a couple times, but she was upset. Like, you know, and she wasn't arrested.
Yeah.
Well, so can I ask a question? So in the US, can you get criminal reports or police reports on anyone, no matter what age they are?
I'm pretty sure if a minor's involved, the minor's information has to be redacted, and I don't think you can request reports in the minor's name.
Yeah.
You would have to request by the incident.
It has to be redacted.
But then he's having stuff made up, isn't he, and typing it, and got all kinds of weirdos typing it.
Yeah, he's manufacturing evidence. That's what he's notorious for.
Yeah, he's always done that.
It's kind of like Chili. He's kind of like Chili in that regard. He loves manufacturing evidence.
Chili just talks bullshit though, doesn't he? Doesn't manufacture it, he just talks a big game and doesn't deliver.
Well, the only reason that Chili did all the shit he did was because Aiden fucking told him to. That's why he started getting harassment orders. So he's like, oh, sue her. So many people have sued me and it just costs money. Just sue her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
Turtleboy's fucking insidious.
I didn't say Chili. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead, sorry.
I was about to say it's not Chili. Not that Chili's any good at manufacturing evidence, but he does manufacture evidence.
But he's probably being guided by bullshitter, hasn't he? And and then bullshitter calls him out and goes, "I'm not giving you an affidavit, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that." He's probably just at the back, him and Lauren egging him on.
Oh, I think I had like 3 or 4 extensions on that waiver.
I mean, I think Kate mentioned the stream, last night. It's the first time I've been involved in that aspect of the internet. So I watched the ASMR video. So I was in the ASMR stream thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? This is absolutely awful. And the latter bit was about squatting and things like that. But the first bit, they were just all calling each other and screaming at each other. And then either it was ASMR or 𝗵𝗂 went on and they put the link to the original video with Steph. And I've watched it today. I've had to take it like 2 times out because it's just people screaming at each other.
Oh, from last night? That was toxic as fuck.
That was absolutely awful, Kate. You came in with a voice of reason at the end. It's like, you needed to come in 3 hours ago because it was 3 hours of people just going. And it actually, in all fairness, it was women screaming at each other while men sat back and went.
And did nothing.
Did nothing. And not only did nothing, some men were going, she don't like you. And they were going, I didn't even say that. And they were just egging them on. And I was like going, what's going on here? And these women were annihilating each other. And I was really quite shocked.
Yeah, but you gotta understand though, when it comes to specifically the women in question from that stream,
yeah,
there is a history going back years. It didn't matter if it was on a man's stream or a woman's stream. I mean, those individuals, when they find each other, they take a link, they jump up, they scream at each other, they restream one another. That is their content.
Steph, I'm sorry, and I know Steph is not an angel, but like, my fucking God. Like Steph, she can't even get a word out without being like, shut your whore mouth. They called her a junkie. They called her a drunk. They were fucking calling her a whore. They went to her kids. Like, nobody knows why she has that truancy case.
Nobody knows a lot of this stuff up there, but the thing is, you also kind of know what you're getting into when you jump onto a stream with people that you don't like.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I jumped on that stream, but when you were in. So.
But this is the 3rd time Steph has jumped up on Starlight stream or a stream with Starlight and German Lady in the last week.
She needs to, it was to the point to where even 𝗵𝗂 and Corrosive were like, I'm actually concerned about her.
Yeah. I thought, because I'd had ASMR saying, well, they've doxed the kids, they've done all this. And he sent me this link through Discord, through your Discord, Kate, and said, look at this Discord. So I clicked on it. I'm going to have to watch it all the way through now because give me a timestamp. And the first part of it, Steph comes on, but then she's having a go at Lauren. So, I'm not particularly a fan of Lauren, but I thought, well, I'm not going to be disparaging. I'm not going to have any kind of bias. So I watched that. And then I had to watch it for nearly 4 hours. I didn't have to. I did watch it. wants to make my own judgments. But Steph was ranting, and at the beginning I was thinking, oh, this is awful. This woman's picking on people and she's being belligerent and all that kind of stuff. And by the end, she's got two other women constantly attacking her. And I'm going, why are these three women attacking each other? Step back and see what's going on. And these men going, well, we can't hear ourselves over them. And it's irrelevant whether you're right, it's irrelevant, it's a woman's a man's stream. But the person that was running that stream did not stop that happening.
Yeah, but
I was a bit disappointed with that, actually.
But that's the issue. That is the content. In that side of the community, that is the content. The content is the shit show, is the fighting.
Yeah.
There's a reason there were 230 people in there. And Kate, you bring thousands of people into your streams. I'll tell you right now, that community, if you get more than 30 views, you're excited.
I know, and I've never been in that side of the community. It's only because I was on Kate's Discord and somebody pasted a link and I went in because it was the only live at the time that I saw it, and I thought, this is really unpleasant.
What is the community? Like, what topic are they having such personal issues about? Like,
it's really drama. They just call themselves a drama community.
What topic aren't they having issues about?
Yeah, I mean, you name it, and they'll create content by like trolling people with fake shit. They'll create content by doxing people and then calling other people doxers or saying it was justified doxing. They'll create drama. I mean, I've literally joked, you know, I'm a mod in one of those servers, and I've joked, I'm like, guys, we should do a calendar on like what the fucking drama of the month is, because you guys drag everything the fuck out. I'm like, August, we had a guy commit suicide, but he did it fake, so he didn't actually kill himself. And that was after he spent a couple of months doxing the fuck out of people, calling it an 𝗟𝗲𝗴𝗋. I'm like, then he quote unquote kills himself, self-deletes. Many of us caught on very quickly.
Video to watch. I'm sorry. Like, he planned it out enough to where like there was a gunshot and brain splatter. It was enough that people were fucking messaging me, being like, did that just really happen? They were fucking frantically trying to call the police, all that shit, and he just did it and let it sit. And this is not some sort of large channel where you can easily identify it as shocking performance art. This was like a dude that like, this is a small fucking corner of the internet. It's pretty much Boyd, like, right? Or maybe even a little bit below Boyd, really. Like, you know, it's just not like everybody knew him. They thought that he was fucking dead. Like,
right. And this is a guy who spent days and weeks leading up to that, though, with, hey, I'm getting off YouTube. Like, I'm changing. You know, my family comes first. I'm done with this bullshit, blah, blah, blah. To the point where he was talking to people about, I'm opening up a life insurance policy in case anything ever happens to me. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then when he tells somebody, hey, can you stream this thing that's going live tomorrow? You know, I think it's going to be a hot video. And you've got 7, 8 Discords. You've got multiple people restreaming. The guy's talking about stuff. He pulls a gun out, blasts himself in the face. Now, for people like me, who it wasn't as shocking to me, it is not the first video I've seen even that week like that. I said, hey, the blood popped out before he even pulled the trigger. Like, his squib went off before he pulled the trigger. The way the body fell, the way the hand moved. I've been at the range enough. I've seen enough where that did not look real. And then within an hour, people getting the sheriff's going out there and them saying, well, he killed a character off on YouTube. He didn't kill himself. Okay, so it wasn't real. But it didn't change how people thought, didn't change how people reacted.
Bullshit. I mean,
that was the August one.
What you're saying is that if you did that over here, you'd be done with wasting police time.
So that was the August drama. That was like the calendar entry for August was Bird and then the resurrection of Bird.
I mentioned Bird last night quite a lot in this.
Bird.
Yeah, not your bird, but their bird. So their bird is the self-resurrected Jesus, the 𝗟𝗲𝗴𝗋, and now he goes by Mr. 𝗙𝗹𝗂, and he's around quite a bit. He streamed with Steph a couple of nights ago. Steph ASMR and Bird had the stream about Paige's court case with Brett.
I feel like somebody asked me yesterday on Discord, how did you end up in this community? And I said, well, I was watching gamma videos like Jim Browning and Brady on YouTube, and then First Amendment came up, and then Kate came up, and 𝗏𝗏 and Skeptic, and all that, and then from there it went to Demon. I was watching all that kind of stuff, and then I ended up on Discord.
That's how I got here too, and I'm so confused about these fringe arguments. Like, what's the topic? Is it you don't agree with something political, or is it just the need to lash out at other people that somehow you find yourself
A
in
little
common?
both.
I watch them to be.
Lot of
I watch
both.
that stuff on YouTube just to go. I mean, to be honest, we sit here shaking our heads, going, "We can't believe it," right? And things.
Yeah, lawyers, for sure.
But the stuff we saw last night and this morning, that people just screaming at each other on the web, screaming abusive content or abusive comments. I was actually quite shocked. I didn't believe that that's the way that grown adults behave to each other, because we're adults and that's not how adults behave. I don't know, maybe. And then I started thinking, have they got some kind of mental health issue? Have they got some kind of social issue?
I mean, the thing is that, yes, probably. Most people that willingly go on fucking YouTube do. Like, that's just, like, it's just a terrible fucking place. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know how I got roped into some of these communities. I think it was just a slow drip because I tend to look at so many different things online, and I tend to really get compelled by, like, human behavior. So, yeah. I don't even know how I got in with stuff.
Well, you got looped in because that community is an amalgamation of the crime drama community, the 1A community, the drama community, first aid, people going after auditors. So that's kind of where that mingled. Like, I got pulled in, and I blame fucking you and Brett, because I watched Turtleboy when you and Brett were up there. And then when Brett disappeared, I kind of said, all right, I'm just going to focus on watching Brett. No offense to you, I don't really care as much about the 1A bullshit, because at the end of the day, I feel like half of the people on YouTube in general are scammers, and that's true with every community, whether it's 1A, homestead and prepping, so on and so forth.
I get shit on it for it all the time, so thank you very much. But, yeah, no, I don't, like, I made amends with Brett, too. Like, that's another thing that Aiden wants to constantly pull up, is what Brett has said. Everybody knows the way that Brett operates, okay? Like, even he will tell you, he's not wound all that fucking tight. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but that man has fucking lived hard, Yeah. Not by his own fault. So, when Aiden gave him validation and a job to do, and Aiden, make no mistake, there was no question to anyone ever what Brett's job was there,
Correct. It was the attack dog. It was this is the guy who's going to run interference and keep me looking okay.
Right. So, he apologized to my daughter.
I believe it. And he's apologized to you countless times. He still says it on his streams to this day, where he goes, look, I don't know if Kate and I are friends. I don't know why she forgives me. I would never forgive me. He's like, I don't deserve forgiveness. I mean, that's the guy who knows. He said some fucked up shit, but he said some fucked up shit in employment of a guy who pushed him to only say fucked up shit about whoever he was going against.
Yep. I don't hold it against him. We are friends. If you talk to him, let him know. I wasn't always answering his texts because I just switched phones to a phone that actually works. And before that, good luck. But no, I don't have anything fucking against the guy. He needed something and wanted, I stay out of the page B thing because I know the post. You know what I mean? So I know the deal with that. And there's things that I could not defend on either side.
Told me to look at page B, and I don't to look at page B. I just feel like I'm being dragged down a rabbit hole.
And she's an asshole, and she's argumentative, and she drinks heavily, and she's not always graceful about it. Or she was drinking heavily. I haven't noticed lately whether or not, I don't, it's not my business. But, she offends people, and, you know, people are awful in return. Like,
I think when I was watching, not so much last night maybe, because I was just watching the aftermath of whatever had happened during the day, and it was all kind of accusations. And is it Shiva was amazing. He's the voice of, well, for me, he's very calm, very considered. He sent me a couple of links today about social media and things like that. Some of them are going to be things. But some ASMR sent me the link. I'm sure he's listening now. Sent me the link about the original video, and there was just all these people just basically screaming at each other. But it didn't make any reason. They were not having an argument. They weren't trying to have a rationale behind it or a reason. They weren't trying to battle it out. They just basically shooting at each other. And I was like going, what am I watching here? And I watch most of my telly now. We're in the UK. Our television's it's reasonably good. I'm in the UK. We've only got a few channels. I'm in the UK, and I'm thinking, I watch most of my stuff on YouTube now, and I'm like going, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. And I said to my hubby this morning, he said, what are you listening to? I said, you don't need to listen to this. 𝗵𝗵𝗧 will not like it. And I know he won't, because that's not how normal, rational people treat each other. They will try to find a moral ground. They will try to find a level ground where you can work with each other.
Well, I think
you've got, I think one of the things was, you've got a cop. Like, what? For what reason? Why? What is your reason? You're using that as some kind of offensive comment. Why?
Get some giggles.
Well, because that's how trolling works. The whole point of trolling is you find what triggers them and you go at them with that. That's it.
Maybe I've just got probably wrong. So I do troll. 1A usually.
Alright, that's monstrous. No, for real. Is Aiden's wife fat? Yeah, of course she is. Oh, absolutely. I don't want to say that, because honestly, she's fat. Like, that's what I'm saying. She's over 35.
There's a difference between calling somebody out on their beliefs and making very, very personal.
Yeah, but the reason she got cheated on has nothing to do with her. She works hard. She's a good mother. She's not an attractive woman. She's not an unattractive woman by any measure.
Yeah, I think that's the reverse, because to me the first thing you described is not trolling. That's calling people out. And I think that's the issue with the community is people think,
for me, because
and
mine is now.
What a troll is so subjective. But to me, having a debate, having a discussion. I went up on Shiva's panel last night about abortion, and someone messaged me with, you're going to hate me after this, huh? No, because if I hate you based on you having a differing opinion or a differing view of life or an upbringing, then I'm a fucking asshole. I said, we can have discussions as adults, and I don't have to scream at you and cuss you out or bring personal shit into it, because that's how a debate and a discussion works. But on the flip side, trolling is literally meant to hurt. It's literally meant to be malicious.
Is that not down to the other person's interpretation? So when we say, I'm going to talk about 𝗵𝗶𝗧. I'm not going to say his real name. We call him 𝗵𝗶𝗧 because he's fasting at the moment. But so we could make comments based on his content that I know are going to upset him. Yeah, or are going to trigger him. Not upset, trigger. Yeah. So I made those content. They're not necessarily always about personal attacks, are they?
Not about personal, but when you look up this is where I wouldn't go based on a dictionary definition. I would look at what communities look at the definition of trolling. And it's a troll is internet slang for a person who intentionally tries to instigate conflict, hostility, or arguments in an online social community. I mean, the word hostility is in there for a reason. It is not something, having a differing opinion is not hostile. It's how you react to it. The fact that somebody's trying to trigger somebody, that is a hostile action. That is, and now if you're doing it to try to make content off of it, well then yeah, you found a lol cow. You found your content. You found someone, it's time to go out there and milk that cow. So now you have to keep triggering them. And how do you trigger them? The easiest way is the personal stuff.
I get that. So
I mean, even with
I didn't
Chili's.
understand it that way because I've triggered 𝗃𝗃. You said his name. I've triggered 𝗃𝗃 before now, numerous times. But actually no, I think they probably were quite personal.
I mean, Jesus Christ, look at how Aiden talks about any of the people he's writing articles about it. Crusty panties, gutter muppet, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Those are all personal attacks. To me, the part that makes him not definitively just a journalist is the fact that he's not reporting on the issue. He's bringing a very opinionated, heavy slant to it, and he's trying to trigger them. It's always, we'll come up on the panel, talk about it. Of course you want them to talk about it, but you're going to have them jump up and talk about something after you've insulted them, doxed them, put out their entire Facebook. And do you think you're going to have a rational person come up?
Yeah, well, you hope not. And if he does get a rational person that comes up, he's going to push and push and push until he doesn't.
Right, because that's the whole point. Yeah. His content is the triggered approach. It's, how do I get this person to snap? And then we go, this person's nuts. Well, yeah, everybody's nuts. They're just 1 or 2 pushes away from being nuts. So when you say, why are you bringing up, why does this person have a cock? Look, definitively, we all know they don't have a cock. All right? The person that was up on that panel has fucking cam streamed and done sex work for people. We know they don't have a cock, but by saying they have a cock, that was the thing that pissed them off. And then if they came out and publicly said, here I am naked, guess what? You fucking triggered them into getting nude. Or you triggered them into doing panels where they're screaming and hollering about, I don't have a cock, I'm the German lady, I'm not a German man, blah, blah. That is the content. I don't agree with it, but that is the content.
So it's Chris Chance.
I think I'm a bit naive to what trolling is.
It isn't. No,
I think I am naive.
This is not trolling. Trolling would be, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. Trolling is finding someone who is extremely delusional and narcissistic and purposely feeding into their delusions and laughing about it later. You know what I mean? Like, the point of a good troll is sort of like what I was doing with Truth Finder was when he was in here. Telling him that he's Pakistani and changing his name to something sausage related, because it's innocuous, but it sets him off, and that's what's funny. Like, ha ha ha, the smallest things trigger you. Going in and telling somebody, you're a piece of shit, you always miss your kid's school bus, you're on opiates, like, that's just being mean. And some people might say like, I was just trolling, but you're not. That's terrible blood sport. It's almost always personal. If you're going out and just trolling someone 9 times out of 10, it's not personal. It's like, asking people on their Facebook Live if you could, see the couch they're auctioning off for sale and seeing the confusion. It's telling people that you'll go away from their live stream if they put a shoe on their head and getting them to put a shoe on your head. It's not that.
So, Kate, I guess I would kind of throw this back in your corner, though. Isn't telling a Muslim Indian that he loves sausage, which is a pork-related product, and calling him sausage finder and a Paki, knowing the Indian and Pakistani conflict that his parents would have went through, isn't that personal?
Well, sausage is a pork. I'm gonna put that out there.
I honestly didn't even think about the sausage thing.
But do you get what I mean? Like, it triggers him. Why does it trigger him? Because of the personal response. Most people don't get triggered unless there's a personal response. If someone brought up my father, I joke, I'm the first one to be like, he's still getting cigarettes and milk. Like, that troll doesn't work on me because it doesn't exist.
I'm very confused now about what trolling is, because I think it's what Kate said.
What Kate brought up was, you don't know if it's personal until you actually have to sit back and think about it.
Yeah, that is fair.
And that's the issue, is the trolls that tend to work the best are the ones that have a personal dig. Because think about everything he said. He threatened to spit on a guy's dick, have his father suck him off. He told Rada he was going to turn him into a woman and impregnate him. That's some brutal shit. But the stuff that pissed him off was me telling him, hey, dude, you look like Forrest Whitaker. You took Dayquil and NyQuil at the same time. The thing that pissed him off was, dude, you get the dirtiest fingernails ever. You're a sausage lover. You're a packy. Those are the things that pissed him off the most, and they triggered him. And we laugh, oh, haha, he's triggered. Why? Because they were personal digs.
Was that a stream I watched though? Was it? Because I watched hours of that.
The shock jocks like Howard Stern and people like that, they go after the personal angle to rile them up.
Right. And that's literally what trolling is to trigger somebody. It's to get them riled up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Because otherwise, you're just having a discussion or a debate. If you watch Fox News, CNN, any of those, there's a reason they get somebody on one view and the other view, and they have a discussion. Very rarely do they go at one another personally. And when they do go at one another personally, those get the best fucking views because people are like, ah, you got them. Of course you got them because you triggered them.
But I think there's something in the middle where people like 𝗪𝗏, you can attack his values or his, not attack's probably a wrong word. You can challenge his beliefs, his words, his actions and his deeds, and that will trigger him without actually saying, even though I'm calling him 𝗪𝗏, because he's chubby at the moment and he says it. Even though you can challenge all those things without saying to him, you're a fat little fucker. And to get a trigger out of him. So you can challenge the words he says and the actions that he does without actually making a personal attack on him. And it's not, that's not quite the same as the media having both sides of the debate.
Right, but those people can still be triggered based on their beliefs. I guess it depends on how much those convictions are held to you. I mean, that's where even 𝗪𝗏's debate last night could have gotten very hairy or over the top. But when I think of internet trolling, when I think of people on the internet, yeah, there's multitudes of people and ways to do it. But generally the end goal is, how do you trigger this person in the easiest and quickest way? Personal attacks. And I see Corrosive jump in here. And I mean, Corrosive, tell me if I'm wrong. I know you and I agree on a lot of things when it comes to, I don't think doxing should exist. I don't think people should be looking at fucking the argument of what's a public record, what's not. Well, you can go through and find everyone's marriage license, death certificate, birth certificate. I mean, there's a lot of shit that's public, but depending on what you put out, it's either considered a dox because it's public or not a dox because it was public. But that's what this whole issue is. Like, these people in that community claim this one doxed me, I'm clean. Well, no, they all fucking dox. Almost all of them have doxed. All of them go personal, and yet they bitch about the other person going personal.
Well, that's very much the impression I got from watching both the live streams. They all just bitched about each other and called each other names. It was a bit like, being in a schoolyard. It was really.
In that community, it's just another day that ends with the letter Y.
I mean, remember back to our schoolyard days where, the big insults that seemed to hurt the most were the ones like, well, your daddy isn't even in the picture type jokes, or your mama's so big, da-da-da-da-da, or the bike. Stuff like that. And now here it is. We've got new stuff to worry about because the cyberbullying is causing these kids to take their own lives because they're going with a personal angle and sitting there and just, oh my gosh. I was bullied as a kid, but it taught me how to deal with stuff, because the world's not perfect. You ain't going to sit here and have rose petals at your feet every day. Not everybody's going to treat you nice.
You were bullied as a child, but nowadays, bullying... Yeah,
they get personal.
It's 24/7. It's the end of the phone, the end of the computer, the end of an email, the end of social media, on social media. So it's not quite the same as we had when we were children.
Back in our day, we had a girl commit suicide, but it wasn't because of bullying.
she was going through mental stuff. I mean, big time mental stuff. And she even told the kids on the bus, hey, I'm going to do this. And they were just making fun of her, saying, oh, you're not going to do it. She did it. Unfortunately, I had to go to the funeral. Close friend of mine.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we also don't know how many more pushes a person needs until they get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. That's why mental health is such a big thing right now.
And I have it in school where children will say that they are going to harm themselves. And you go, right. And so we sort of like have a chat with them. But then no matter what, certainly in the UK, we have to report absolutely everything. So we then have to take it to our safeguarding lead. 𝗪𝗏 said this. Do you think they meant it or not? Well, I don't really know. Probably, I think they were joking because I had this entire conversation, but I don't know. And then it has to be reported through an entire system of people. You know,
I mean, recently we've seen a court case even get involved with somebody egging somebody on to commit suicide because they thought the person wasn't serious.
Yeah, we've had that in the UK too.
Oh gosh.
And it's horrible, isn't it? And if it's your child.
It was. I watched that trial just to see how far she took it. Yeah. She went way beyond the line.
We've had quite a few over here. It's horrible, and we've had a couple of kids recently on the TikTok challenges with roast.
Oh yeah,
absolutely horrible.
When did we normalize it being okay to go? Is it because of the trolling and we're crossing the line?
I just don't think that kids see it as the same type of bullying. If you bully somebody in the face, if you come up and you bully somebody face to face, you do it once, they might, depending on the child or the young person or the person, they're going to back off, or they might just shout back. Eventually it's going to become to fisticuffs, isn't it? It's going to become, well, I'm going to stand my ground. And on the internet, you can't stand your ground. So then you think, well, it's just going to be incessant. And that's what really upset me this morning. When I watched last night and today, I just thought, this is horrible. This is just online bullying. And I didn't quite know what the point of any of it was, other than for people to watch other people scream abuse at each other. And what was the point?
And then you got these people that'll say, well, you can't put a limit on it because it's my First Amendment right. So unfortunately, our court system has to come in and try to define it. Pardon me, sorry for my kiddo. And it just is so blurred sometimes. You don't know when you hit that no-go line.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have First Amendment over here, and there's certain things about harassment. I think our law is probably a bit different than yours.
Y'all have anything similar?
First Amendment. We have free speech. We have free speech. There are very clear guidelines about hate speech and all that stuff about turning up at police stations and stuff. Our auditors tend to turn up at police stations, and then they either get moved on or arrested because of anti-terror laws and terrorism. And I don't understand why, in your country, knowing what you went through in 9/11, why they feel it's appropriate to make people feel intimidated, to see about how the structures work within local government. You know, we've had things like over here, we've had train stations. I live in Manchester. We've had Manchester bombed. It was by the IRA and not Al-Qaeda. But we've had London bombed by Al-Qaeda. And you can't get away with that. If you go filming outside a police station, they're going to go, why are you doing that? Right, well, anti-terror laws. And we've even got ones going over in Ireland, and, you know, Ireland's got all kinds of its own issues. They're all dealt with by anti-terror.
Wow.
Well, why, you know, you had what was going on in 9/11, which was absolutely tragic. And yet we've got dickheads thinking they can go and film a police station. And my question would be, why are you filming a police station?